Okay, here we go. There's my sea turtle. Here's swordfish and some other kind of fish. Here is the seahorse. I mounted it on that piece of black and red thing. I don't know why I did, but I did. Okay, this one here is one of my favorites. That's one piece of metal. It's three-dimensional. You know, the one in front is actually in front of the one in back. It's one piece of metal. What I did was I carved them both, and then I left a little piece of metal in between them both, and then I bent it. Okay, here, this is the same way. This guy. It's the same thing. It's two pieces, but it's made out of one piece of metal. Alright, here's one of the early fish. Alright, this little turtle is not done yet. He's actually set up to be a wind chime, but I have to put the 3D pen on him, and then I got to polyurethane him and, you know, all that stuff. I'll probably get that done today. Alright, here's a little lizard climbing up the fence. He's also a wind chime, if you want a wind chime. If you don't want him as a wind chime, you don't have to have him as a wind chime. Alright, there's another fish. Here is the two Dell fish. They say Dell on them. Alrighty. And here's a chicken. A buddy of mine was going out with this girl who loved chickens. So he asked me if I could do a chicken, and I did, and then they broke up. Alright, here is one of my definite all-time favorites, the elephant. This guy, I mean, he's heavy. He's made out of what looked like a big drawer, some type of industrial piece of equipment with a big drawer in it. And it's real heavy metal. I mean, man, that thing is heavy. And like I said, he's absolutely one of my favorites. Alright, here's a couple African masks that goes along with the elephant, I think. These are made out of cardboard, paper mache, and drywall mud. And for the mouth and the eyebrows, I put the drywall mud in a pastry bag and then squeezed it out. This guy, the zebra one, is kind of like camouflaged, but he's got eyes, nose, and a mouth. He's got everything there. Okay, here's a fish that I just finished not too long ago. Now, this angelfish here, I have to, I've got to fix his mouth. Something, you know, just something. He looks too damn happy. That's what it is. So I'm going to do something with his mouth. I don't know what yet. Okay, now this guy here, there's a story behind this one. What I was trying to do was I was trying to make a diffuser for my oven, because whenever I bake something in the oven, the bottom gets done very quickly and the top you know, is not anywhere near done. So I made this and I put it in the bottom of the oven, and I tried it, and it absolutely did not work. In fact, it made it worse. The oven was even hotter when I put this thing in there. So I took it out, and I was looking at it, and this is completely by accident. But the name of this thing is Count the Monkeys. I counted up to 17 monkeys on this thing. Now, you have to use your imagination, of course. Look, there's one right here. Hold on. Let me show you. There's one right here. Here's his eyes and his mouth. Okay? Some of them are upside down. Some of them are sideways. You know, there's a whole bunch of monkeys. Here's one here. There's his eyes and there's his mouth. Okay, here's another one. Here's his eyes And here's his mouth. I'm sorry, here's his mouth. Here's two eyes down here, and there's a mouth. I mean, I freaked out when I was looking at this thing. Here you go, here's two eyes, and here's a mouth. I don't know, one day I counted 17 of them, and then I got confused whether I had already counted them or not. Anyway, I kind of like it, man. It's like an abstract metal art, you know. So anyway, there it is. There's my collection. Maybe one day I'll sell this stuff. I don't know. I don't know. I tell you what, I really like this idea here with these guys. See, I don't know if you can see it or not. Yeah, you see right here where the metal is bent? See, what I did was I carved these two fish and I left a strip of metal in between them. And then I just bent the metal so that the bottom fish came up in front of the back fish. And man, I don't know, I like it. I mean, I really like these things with the two fish. And the seahorse here, oh man, this was really a pain. You know, I had to mount the seahorse onto the piece of wood. So I had to screw through the seahorse. Well, I didn't want the screws to show. So if you look really close right there, you can see one screw right here. Where am I? Right here there's a screw. Here there's a screw, and then down on the bottom here there's a screw. Now I had the screws and you could see them, so I'm thinking, man, what can I do here? Well, I tried a couple different things. It didn't work. Then I finally went to Home Depot and got some colored caulk, and it was a brown colored, and then I mixed some yellow and red paint with it and mixed it in, and I put the caulk on top of the screws, and it's perfect. I mean, you really can't see the screws. You would have never known they were there if I didn't point them out. But anyway, that thing is pretty cool. So that's it. That's my stuff. I'm going to try to get into an art show or a you know, I really don't want to go to a flea market because, you know, a flea market, man, I don't want to argue with these people. I want to put a price on it, and that's what I want. If I wanted to bicker with these people, then, you know, then you got to go $25 more. You know what I mean? And then they Jew you down to, hey, no offense, Jews, but they Jew you down to what you wanted in the first place, you know. So I mean, it's just all a bunch of BS. You know what I mean? Like this one here, the seahorse, I want 75 bucks. Okay, now if someone wants a dicker about the price, then I'm going to put 100 bucks on it, you know, and they're going to Jew me down to 75, and I'm going to say, okay, yeah, you can have it for 75. You know what I mean? That's it's just, you know, it's all a big game, man. I don't want to play that game. You know, that's like my my elephant. You know, I want, well, I'm not sure yet. I want either between 60 and 70 bucks for the elephant. Now, if you want the masks to go along with it, well, you know, then we're talking 60. We're talking 125 bucks for 3 masks and the elephant. I mean, man, that's a good price. I mean, this takes up a lot of space on your wall, you know. Well, anyway, if I sell to tourists like this one here that says Florida, oh shit, you know, I want, who knows, 50 bucks for this thing. You know, it's just nothing but a simple fish, but the tourist will pay for it. You know, if I go down to the beach and you know, if I sell this stuff at the beach, I mean, you know, people are crazy, man. They'll pay a lot of money. You know what? My nephew and I cleaned out a mobile home. One time we were putting a tent on a building for termites on a mobile home. And the guy came by and he said, he said, look, do you know anybody that has a truck and can empty out a mobile home for me? He said, I can't pay, but you can keep everything that you get. So we went and looked at it, and the house was completely furnished. I mean, completely. I mean, I'm not kidding you. There were still like dinner plates on the table. And I asked the guy, what happened here? You know, it looked like somebody died, you know. And the guy says, no, what happened was there was an old couple that lived here, and their son came down to visit them. The son was a doctor, and he came down to visit them one day, or, you know, 1 week or whatever. And he said, I don't like the way you're living here. Pack up, you're leaving. And that was it. He took them away. Just like that. I mean, there were still plates on the table. I kid you not. So anyway, I told my nephew, you know, I had a pickup truck. I told my nephew, yeah, we can do this, you know. So we went through the place and we emptied it out. Now, the only thing I told him was, look, I only want these 2 Hummels that are on the counter. You can have everything else. So I ended up with 2 Hummels that I made good money on. I sold them on eBay, and they were very old. They were Hummels with the full B on the back. In other words, the B had wings. So, okay, anyway, my nephew took all the other stuff, and he had a garage sale one day. His mom helped him. You know, he was only like 15. He still lived at home. So his mom helped him with this garage sale. So I went over there to see how he was doing, and he had just opened up the garage sale, and his mom was there, and I found this piece of junk. This was some kind of little ceramic thing that you hung on the wall, and it looked like you could put flowers in it or something, but it was real cheap. I mean, this thing was like, it was a joke. And I said to his mother, I go, now, I think they had a price on it, like, I don't know, $1 or something. And I said to his mother, I go, now, who the heck would buy a piece of junk like this? And sure enough, man, the first guy that pulled up walked over and he looked around and he picked that thing up and he bought it. So my point is, people buy anything, you know. I mean, it's just so weird, man. People will buy stuff. One guy thinks it's junk and the other guy thinks it's treasure, you know. So anyway, that's it. All right, I'm done with this video. Thanks for watching. And there's my elephant. That's my favorite right there, man. Whew. All right, I'll see you guys. Thank you. Bye.